Hey, welcome to this basketball story. We're going to show you how Carter turned this bunch of ballers into academic stars. Even though they wanted to skip classes under the guise of basketball, Carter played the role of a firm but fair teacher. Their parents began arguing with Carter. It was hilarious. Suddenly every excuse made sense. If a 2.0 GPA gets them into college, why not let them chill a bit? But Carter quickly hit them with the reality of college entrance exams. He said the 2.3 GPA makes college entry easier, as C means acceptable. This baseline requirement sounded simple. After all, who says athletes can also be brainiacs? But these guys had a terrible sense of discipline, so fines were definitely on the way. The next day, Senator Bartle arrived late and was punished with 250 push-ups for past laziness. His teammates tried to excuse him, but the whole team ended up running 20 laps, a real guilty by association. Bartle was fuming inside, but he reluctantly accepted the reality of the situation. He thought surviving this would lead to smooth sailing on the court, only to find his future held even tougher tricks. Suddenly, a teammate gasped and asked how many more laps. Bartle could only sigh, more than you can imagine. Carter's methods were laughably strict, but hey, sometimes you gotta break a few eggs to make a good omelette. But really, there was some logic behind Carter's madness. He had seen how these guys played before. Their skills weren't that bad. It was just their old school coach's tactics that were dragging them down. Last year, 4 wins, 22 losses, a dismal record, heartbreaking, ranked last citywide. That horrendous record really broke Carter's heart, especially since he used to be part of that same team. The Wall of Honor still held untouchable banners, symbols of his glorious past. Being a 2-time All-American was the best proof of his skills. Carter was indeed a legend. Yet, he was willing to return to his old school, sitting at the bottom of the league. He led intense training to reclaim the glory of his alma mater, one sweaty step at a time. And guess who showed up? Carter's son. He thought arriving late would be fine since he was in an unfamiliar place. But oh, how wrong he was to face his dad's punishment. Since he signed the loyalty contract last week, there was no saving him. Kid promised to show up 10 minutes early and keep a high GPA, so Carter had to respect that. Though he had his doubts, it took just a month for the team to get used to this boot camp. Their stamina had surprisingly improved, and Carter finally decided it was time for some strategy drills. To make sure everyone got the tactics, Carter gave them funny names, probably to up the engagement level. For example, Figo denotes trap tactics, while Little Linda signifies offense, surely evoking lively memories. These humorous names instantly ignited the team's excitement, and their synergy skyrocketed. Soon, the new season arrived, and they finally had their chance to prove themselves. Before the game, Carter didn't fuss over strategies. All he wanted was for the team to keep moving. As predicted, they didn't have the upper hand at the start of the match. As the game progressed, their stamina started to show, and the score gap narrowed down. At this particular moment, Carter called for a timeout, and the coach could finally send his son onto the court. Time's Earl, after the rebound, the center passed to Little Carter, who flew past defenders. In no time, he scored effortlessly, bringing the score within just 1 point. Then the center stole quickly and passed to Little Carter, who faked a shot, aiding a teammate's score. Ultimately, they pulled off a narrow victory, and Little Carter won the respect of his teammates. The team finally celebrated a long-awaited victory, planning a little outing. However, the ex-teammate Cruz showed up to rain on their parade, reminiscing about better times. He claimed their victory wasn't worth celebrating, but the team continued their bash, ignoring him completely. Cruz felt bitter inside. He once loved the game, but now he walked a fine line with the law. After pondering all night, he chose to turn over a new leaf and asked Carter for another shot. Yet Carter's demands were daunting. Everything had to be completed in 2 days. Impossible much? Everyone knew this was nearly impossible, and Carter thought Cruz would back down. But Cruz chose to pursue his passion, as life had already stripped him of many options. Meanwhile, the team was practicing offensive strategies under Carter's watchful eye, and the vibe was surprising. As time passed, everyone was stunned by Crew's determination. It seemed he had no intention of slowing down. Crew's persistence touched Carter, leading him to inquire about his deep-seated fears.